sleep is actually one of the number one factors for why someone could be pre-diabetic.
Really? Sleep?
Yeah. Sleep. Because when you don't get enough sleep, in other words, you're basically cheating your body for being able to have the best process of regulation. Let's just put it like that.
Okay, explain that to me.
When you don't get enough sleep, and drink enough water and all the things that I mentioned, your body over time says, yo, Mike, you're killing me slowly.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And your sugars that could be broken down with regulation, I can't function the way that I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
So that late night snack you just had and you're still up, guess what? Your blood sugar levels are more likely to be high because you're having that late night snack.
Yeah.
And I can't really work to break things down the way I'm supposed to because you're not sleeping.
Set an alarm and then get you a sleep routine too. Like at certain times, you got to know like, all right, this is what I'm doing to prepare myself to go to sleep. Because if not, you're going to stay up.
Yes.
You're going to stay up. It's too easy, especially when you got all this stuff going on, bro. You're a director. You got entrepreneurship stuff that you got going on. You got a wife. Yes. You're a doctor. You got family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't develop it now, especially when you add kids into it, bro.
Man.
What? Bruh. So I'm just saying all that to say, bro, like the habits that you create are going to impact the people around you.
Fact.
And that's the responsibility that we have to bear as men. Yeah. So we got to be very mindful of the ones that we create, especially around like lifestyle stuff, you know, like, cause that's going to impact everybody. Cause again, there's alternatives like you talked about, different approaches for different people to for the same thing. Naps are one of the things that I started doing too, bro. I was like, yo, I need to take me a nap, bro.
Right.
Again, I used to be tired at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I'm like, bro, why am I trying to force myself to stay up?
Right.
I can't even read an email without drawing. I might as well just go fall asleep real quick.
Right.
Let me go take a nap. I took a nap for like an hour one time. And I woke up. And like when you wake up from an hour nap, it's weird.
Right.
Initially, you're like, bro, what the fuck am I doing up? I might as well just keep sleeping. Then when you get up and you actually start paying attention to stuff, like it takes me like 5 minutes to really get into into my groove. I'm like, damn, like I got so much more energy.
Yeah.
You feel so much more energized than where you were before you fell asleep. So like, bro, naps were like very crucial for me at one point. And even to this day, I still would take a nap. If I feel like I need to take a nap, I'm going to go fall right asleep, bro.
A lot of the men, my goodness, I'm shaking my head because I'm just thinking about how many times I've seen them go through health problems and they just like don't want to even talk about it. So part of the problem, right? You can't even advocate. We talked about advocating earlier. You can't even advocate for yourself if you're not willing to talk about what it is that's going on with you.
Yeah, that's the first step.
So that is the first step. So that is a barrier, I believe, to a lot of health issues. If more Black men were to talk about what's actually going on with them in the health, I think we would, on a whole, have a new conversational topic to discuss, which then could bring more awareness that makes us willing to advocate for each other as brothers in the community.
Yeah.
So I would say, one thing that we're not doing enough of is just talking about what it is we're going on, whether it's mental health, physical health, and then another thing that we need more of, and we are doing good jobs, this is not to discredit the good work that has been done in the community by brothers. We are doing good jobs of conversating and building community, but we need to build more. And the reason why is because there's going to be another generation that comes after us. And you said this before where it's like, when I have kids, they're going to look at the habits that I built in my household. The next generation is going to look at the habits that were built in the generation before them. How are we as Black men going to make sure that the next generation feels okay to talk about what's going on with them, feels okay to take control over their health, feels okay to say, hey, listen, I think I might need to really have someone discuss with me what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing on a physical, emotional, mental level. So for me, the biggest answer is just anything with communication and communicating your own feelings on your health. Culturally appropriate means that when you are dealing with a patient, a member, you're really understanding that different cultures have different contexts. So one culture, it may be normal for them to have maybe more starchy foods in their diet. Another culture may have more protein in their diet. Is it culturally appropriate for me to go to someone who may be from Nigeria, for instance, like some of my good brothers, and be like, hey, don't ever eat fufu again. Don't even eat jollof again.
Or might get killed, bro.
You might get killed. Or you think it's appropriate for me to go to my Trini brothers and say, no more roti for you, bro.
Yeah.
Or even if I go to any Jamaican and say, no more rice and peas and stewed chicken.
Yeah. Right.
Bro, culturally appropriate means I can work with you and figure out how best to keep your culture while keeping your care. Just a willingness to for instance, we went on a date. All right. Man, I didn't have my wallet.
Oh,
how do you forget your wallet on a date?
You wild out.
I thought I had it. I really did. Because I'm always phone Key's wallet.
Yeah.
Phone Key's wallet.
Right.
I'm like, she said, no, I got you. I was like, no. I didn't have the Apple Pay at the time. So I'm like, no. She's like, no, I got you. Oh. I was like, all right.
She didn't even think twice about that.
It was...
Man, nowadays...
Like that. Nowadays, it's about what can you do for me?
Right.
Or just like conversation. It's not about me. She's always talking about like, I want to really help somebody. I have this idea about how I can probably do this so others can benefit. I said, so her character just spoke so many things about her and so much volume. So I just said, you're different. You just got great, amazing qualities. Just not that, but wife-like.
Right.
And in a day and age where it's difficult to find quality people, I said...
You said, I got me one.
And it's funny because I actually told her a few months in, because I know a lot of ladies might listen to this, they'll be like, hey, when do you find out? When do guys know?
I was going to ask you because I already knew. I'm glad you preempted. Go ahead, brother. Please continue.
When do guys know that the lady is wife material, or like they want to pursue for, marriage?
Right away, kind of.
The first date we ever had, I automatically knew, like, I see her in the long term. I didn't necessarily have wife as the stamp. I just knew long term. And then maybe like 2-3 months into talking to each other, I think I had joked like very lightly. I was like, oh, you about to be my wifey one day. Right? But then maybe 4 or 5 months in, I actually like told her, I sat her down on a couch and I said, listen, you really will be my wife and I will be your husband. And she was like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But we just had a moment because it's like we knew that we were who we were looking for. She was who I was looking for. I was who she was looking for. So, even in that heartbreak story, the outcome was take a step back. But as I said, I'm a believer in God, and God's timing is perfect.
Yeah.
When we try to force things into our own narrative, it doesn't always work out. And sometimes it will work, but it won't be sustainable. So you had to learn to trust the process. And, especially there are people right now, they're trying to figure out who is right for them. That's a whole different conversation, but just trust the process and just know that don't settle for less, because, you're going to end up with worse outcomes that you really wish you didn't take part in. So I see you. I see you for who you are. You might be going through something. You might be trying to figure out life. You might be looking for more brothers to tap into their network just to feel like you can have support. But I want to acknowledge the fact that I see you. And the second thing is, because I see you, I want to invite and challenge brothers to find community. And it's not always the easiest thing. So I'm not going to say it like, hey, I can just jump into a community tomorrow. But really understanding, what do you have to work with? What tools do you have to work with? So if you're online, what online resources or communities, such like this one, Express Yourself Black Man, right, can you tap into that, and how can you find other brothers? Or offline, do you have, I don't know if you have different hobbies. Maybe you can build some relationships there. If you're a gym person, if you're a church person, if you're a volunteering person, they're just ways that we can connect. And we were not meant to be alone. That's the thing. Like, God didn't create us to be alone. We need people, we need community, and we need to build with each other. The next thing I would say is that while you build, vocalize what you're trying to build, because it's when you kind of manifest that I'm trying to build XYZ, you'll find people to connect with. So if you're just like, hey, I want brotherhood that is really focused on mental health, you have that right here, right? Finding and tapping into resources. Or I want to find maybe a community that really, is able to help me as I'm on a certain career journey. Just being specific with what you want, because it's through specificity and saying the goals out loud and writing them down that when we are in our everyday, we can more readily identify how those goals might be in our lives. And the next thing I would say also is just don't be afraid to talk to each other. Don't be afraid to create that conversation, because, as I've shared before, if it wasn't for some of the men in my life, right, the guys in my life that I could pour into, I really don't know who I would have talked to. Not everything I can talk to my mom about, or, some of my other family members about is really my bros that I can tap into. And with that being said, it leads me to another thing. Please do not be afraid to take advantage of that, in the sense that you feel, society has said that I shouldn't say that I need help. Society has said that I have to be the strong one. I'm not allowed to express my feelings. Listen, man, you can express your feelings. Like, literally, this is what the platform is about. You can express your feelings. And part of expressing your feelings is understanding what you're feeling. And sometimes you have to sit with that. Sometimes you have to reflect with that. But I feel like a lot of us feel and we don't say anything about it. And what happens is those feelings just don't get addressed. We sweep them under the rug, and it just leads to worse outcomes. So all the things I said, I see you, and I really want you, if there's just one thing I want you to take away from everything I just said, please do not be afraid to vocalize what you're feeling. There's somebody out there that is willing to listen.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. Shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. Know you need to hear it, my brother.